Welcome on back to Two Balls and a Mic. Today we're going to go ahead and continue our series of Two Balls and a Comic. We've had a couple of great comics come on, but finally we have somebody representing my team. Give or take, we're doing all right, I guess, in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. Want to go ahead and welcome Mr. Dave Wright. How are you doing, Dave?
Doing great. Thank you guys very much for having me on. Happy to talk some Eagles with you.
Absolutely, man. And well, let's just start here. Obviously right now we're going through it, and I'll put everybody in that category as far as, being quarantined at home and what great things that we've been given. I don't know if you know this, the president actually gave us the NFL. He said in a speech that thanks to him. So you know what? We get to enjoy mediocre Eagles football. Dave, how have you been enjoying, if that's even a word, your Eagles this year?
That's I can't use the word enjoying. That's first things first. It's been, to call it a roller coaster wouldn't even be fair. It's been a giant representation of what 2020 is. It had great hopes in the very beginning. Everybody felt good about it. Oh, it's going to be better than it was last year. And then quickly you tailspin into several different questions on what the hell is going on. Why is this what it is? And basically you just kind of give up hope, and you're just trying to get through it to get to the other side and hope for a better 2021.
That's what we're all hoping, honestly, at this point.
I think you guys could have predicted this. It started out with the draft. You guys skipped on Justin Jefferson.
I mean, we've skipped on a lot.
That's a tough one.
A lot. I mean,
that wasn't I'll be honest. As much as I like Justin Jefferson coming out, he was not the apple of my eye during that draft. CeeDee Lamb dropping, and I felt it in my gut, man. How he is going to make a move.
Yeah,
we are going to move up in the draft once again to grab a player who can impact our future in a very significant way, and more importantly, bring us a wide receiver that we haven't had since, I hate to say it, Terrell Owens.
Yeah,
which
T.O.
is a flash in the pan at best. We've never had good receivers here. You can say what you want about the Super Bowl, but none of those guys are an actual starting number one. Here's your guy. Let's put Alshon Jeffrey against the best in the. No, he was kind of a 1A.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. I classify him as a classic fantasy football wide receiver 2, if that.
He's a definite, all day long. He's all day long. Even maybe even a 3, but that was only for 1 year. I mean, he had his ups and downs with Chicago, but when we finally got him, he was a big body. He was supposed to be this, here's a red zone, he's a possession, he's all these different things. All he's been this year is $9 million that we can't get off the cap, and the guy's caught, one touchdown? Most expensive touchdown in Eagles history.
Absolutely, and if we really want to talk about expensive, let's talk about our guy, Carson Wentz. And let's just get this straight. Where do you stand on the Carson Wentz legacy? Let's take it back to the Super Bowl. Obviously, you have the guy who won an actual Super Bowl with a statue in front of the link, and you got to walk into work every day past that. So, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I was at the game.
Bit of lag,
hopefully.
Kind of drank away all my memories. The sky ended up being one of those, it turned red and orange as soon as he broke his leg, or did what he did to his leg.
Yes, that ACL.
It was just oh my God, here it goes again.
Yeah,
here it goes again. Classic Philadelphia. The moment we do good, we find a way to fuck it up. And after all the trials and tribulations that we did, I mean, I was on the Wentz wagon, as we called it, and he was looking unbelievable. Now, flashing forward to answer your question, I'm still on Wentz. I still think he's our guy. I think he is an NFL quarterback, and I think he's has the potential to be a top quarterback in the league. What happened this year, I think, I don't think it was a progression that just kind of happened in 2020. I think this goes back a full year when he had wide receivers dropping the ball all over the place and had an issue with Mike Rowe, who was the offensive coordinator apparently. And I think this has been probably one of the more difficult situations for anybody in the NFL to get into. Think about it. The guy gets drafted. A team goes up and grabs him and gives up everything to do so.
From a kid
He's
from
a Division
NC
II
State.
guy.
Yeah. Not a big college.
Not a big college out of North Dakota, known for other things such as
Go for it. It's not a family show.
nothing.
It's not
I
a
got
family
nothing.
show.
Yeah, being north of South Dakota.
Yeah,
That's all
exactly.
I got. So he has this team, and they surround him with talent at the moment. He stands behind this great offensive line that gelled, and he gets to vault this team that was upper echelon mediocre. It's the easiest way to describe us.
Yeah, definitely.
And he took us to a level that we hadn't seen in a long, long time. And then he gets injured. And then the guy who replaces him takes the team to the Super Bowl and wins on one of his own calls, might I add.
Yeah.
The greatest football play of all time, as far as I'm concerned.
So
there are others that can argue it, but I'm just talking about me and my life and being an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
That's the greatest damn play I've ever seen.
I mean, I still talk about Boise State and that Statue of Liberty, and I'm not even a Boise State fan. Well, you just got to respect game, and that's just an all-timer.
So what do you tell Eagles fans that are just jumping on the Jalen bandwagon or saying we got to get rid of Wentz, we want Jalen Hurts now? What do you tell those fans?
There's a classic thing that happens as a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Before I answer the question, let me give you a little bit of background, is that we've been the redhead stepchild of the NFC East, which is arguably the most difficult division in football for our entire existence. I don't know anybody that I can honestly tell you has seen the 1960 championship when the Eagles won the last one. That means that I'm now 47, so they won it a couple years ago. I was 45. That means 45 years of losing arguments to, well, you didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Fuck. And then I finally got one. So there's a thing that happens in Philadelphia. We call it the Negadelphia. And that is, as soon as we think somebody is less than Philly tough, which is another thing that we call ourselves, they immediately will jump on whatever is the next shiny thing to come along.
Yeah.
I think it's an idiotic thing. If you're ready to give up on all of the things that we sacrificed, all of the gains that we've had, and all of the losses that we went through together on one game, well, then you're not really much of a fan in the first place. In that case, I wish you the best. You're going to have a very difficult life because you're going to get angry at a lot of things, and you're going to have crazy ideas the rest of your existence.
That's a good point.
I mean, the things that we brought him in to do is what he did on Sunday. We needed him to be this, I don't want to call him a gimmick guy, but we wanted him to be able to run the ball more so than what Carson Wentz used to be able to do.
Yeah, definitely.
I think as soon as he hurt his back, that he stopped scrambling. I think as soon as he hurt his knee, he stopped scrambling. Same thing happened to Donovan McNabb. You can't take a guy that's used to running outside of the pocket, put him in the pocket, and expect great things. It's asking a boxer to be something different than what they are.
And see that boxer is still not in his prime necessarily. People look at his contract. Obviously, you have quarterbacks with like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, arguably still, who come into the league and they have an outstanding play. They get hyped by the media, if you want to say it that way. But then there's the classic quarterbacks that people just seem to overlook. Matthew Stafford is one of the most overlooked quarterbacks in the league, just because he's not flashy. He's just a tall pocket quarterback passer. If that's what Wentz needs to transition in, that's what he needs to do. But the potential that he has, even now with these injuries, with his regression, is Aaron Rodgers levels. We expect that our quarterback is able to do what he can with a bunch of cones and trash cans like he did last fucking year. And people don't remember he had not a single receiver with plus 500 yards, and he took that garbage ass team into the playoffs when the Cowboys were supposed to win that division. But then we have this year and everything that's going on. I mean,
well, think about it.
Yeah.
What if one of you two guys, if I brought in somebody that's going to replace you and put them after I give you all this money, after you finally won the job, the guy that took you to the promised land is now gone. You drive, like you said, you drive by his statue every day. And then, okay, we're with you, Carson. We're with you. You've been through so much shit. We're going to get you some receivers, and you're our number one guy. And you go out and you try to get too smart, and you do too much analytics, and you bring in a guy that checks a lot of boxes, was a really good, he can run, he can jump, he's strong, he's all these different things. But you know what he wasn't? On a winning team.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to pass up on guys that go to schools like LSU and Alabama and Oklahoma. Like, you got to do something to get into that level of a college. And there's a reason those guys go to those schools. It's because they have championship bloodlines. It's in them. I'm not talking about, who their parents are. I'm saying, you learn to be a champion. It's one of the things that you learn.
So who do we fire here? Someone's got to go.
Honestly, this is where it's going to get tough because I think we got to bring in an offensive coordinator.
Definitely.
I don't think we fire Doug, and I don't think we get rid of Howie. What I think happens is we do a reorganization. Howie, in no way, shape, or form, has earned the right to be able to draft. And for a guy that's supposed to be a cap expert, we're in cap hell next year.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It does not look good until 2022. And that's never not feeling real good about what he's been doing. Now, he was also never a football guy. We brought him in to be a cap expert, and then we asked him to do other things. I think if we go back to, hey, why don't you go and do what you do best? You can be an operations guy. We'll bring in another guy to be the GM. You two will make decisions together. And ultimately, your job is to run the organization per se. This guy's job will be to make the draft picks, make personnel decisions, and you guys can talk about these contracts because I don't care. Maybe I'm just old school, but there's no way under the sun that quarterbacks deserve to get the amount of money that they're getting. Yeah. And a prime example of that is Carson Wentz being 20% of the team's cap space next year. 20%.
Yeah.
That's why you can't that's why you can't get Jalen Hurts in here. Now, I will put this caveat in. Mm-hmm. He goes on and he wins out the rest of the season, and we end up going into the playoffs, and he makes a little bit of a stink in there. Okay, now we got a conversation for next year.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you do find a way to move him. There are some teams that could take him. I mean, the Colts would be a great fit for him, and they have the cap space. Are they going to sacrifice what they're going to get? Probably not. And are we going to get anything in return that was similar to what we've put out to get him? Absolutely not. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it, is my point. Jalen Hurts, the knock on him is that he's a one-read quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what made him lose his job to Tua.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So let me throw this theory to you, and not necessarily a hope everybody's healthy and safe, but let's say Jalen does take the Eagles into the promised land, into the playoffs. First game in, he gets injured. Wentz comes in off the bench, leads the Eagles into their second Super Bowl. Does all the talk of Wentz not being able to take a team to the Super Bowl end? Even though they were completely different teams.
I would certainly hope so. I mean, there's one way to shut everybody up, which is to get it done.
Yeah, that's true.
If that happens, I'll be honest with you right now. That would be one of the greatest stories in NFL history. Mm-hmm. And Bud Light would have to make an even larger statue of Carson Wentz and literally have it looking down upon the other two in order to make it work. But, I mean, that would be a miracle.
No, it's anything can happen, man, and
it's a lot of fixing though for the Eagles. I mean, your defense, your secondary is trash. I mean,
They got nailed.
I mean, realistic.
Yeah, they've been a patchwork thing. We finally got a little bit better, but Slay is not a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
Linebackers non-existent.
McLeod is out injured now.
Linebackers, I mean, come on.
What's a linebacker?
there's most every other team has one player that's getting paid more than the 3 starters we have at linebacker. The thing that's really, messed up about all of this, and this is why I think that we can't really fire anybody. We're going on an NFL record 13th new lineup for an offensive line.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was listening to Ron Jaworski today, and one of the things that kind of blew my mind was we're still throwing the ball 64%. We're the fifth most passing team in the league. Now, I don't know much about offensive line, but I do know when you're pass blocking, you have to move backwards.
Yeah.
And when you're run blocking, you move forward. So if I had a bunch of big guys on the line, this is exactly what he said, and I just happen to agree with him. If I had a bunch of big guys on the line, and they're not, pass blocking has a lot of nuances to it. You got to trust the guy to your left. You got to trust the guy to your right, unless you're an end, a tackle. You get the idea. Point being is that we're asking these guys to do a hell of a lot with scrubs. I mean, the fact remains that Jordan Mailata, who I'm a huge fan of right now, has only played football 4 years.
Yes. Yes.
4.
Total. That's it.
Total.
Yeah.
No college, no nothing. Didn't even know what a football was other than, hey, this looks like the rugby ball I play with. That's it. And then Herbig is just, he's the fucking worst. You show me another team that loses. I'm only going to count 2 because Jason Peters leaving.
I
was okay with him being gone. But you show me another team that loses 2 Pro Bowl offensive linemen and does anything.
Exactly. And again, that's why Wentz was running for his life this whole time. And that's an argument that people have made is, okay, well, Wentz is still the franchise. He's still the future. He's still the golden boy, if you want to say. Yeah, he's getting overpaid, the cap space, but you save and protect your assets. You have this kid, Jalen Hurts. Go ahead and throw him out there, see what the other teams like in him, like you were saying, and, hope and pray that mechanics or whatever it is gets fixed with Wentz, and boom, you have your franchise quarterback back.
I think he just needs confidence.
Yeah.
I think, let me knock you on your ass 50 times. And let's see if you're not looking down next time I come at you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And let's make it a little bit. Let's go another step further. Let's surround you with mediocre talent who sometimes will not catch the ball after you've just put everything on the line to get it to them.
Exactly. And
that's a lot to deal with.
And this is a guy that threw a couple good passes in the Super Bowl, leading up to the Super Bowl to Nelson Aguilar. He fixed Nelson Aguilar for a season. And then he forgot how to catch a pass after that. And
he's doing really good at the Raiders.
He's doing all right now, but for now.
Yeah, now he's killing it in Vegas.
He's doing really good at the Raiders.
Fuck Nelson Aguilar.
And now the guy can finally catch something.
Right. But tell me about right now. I have people who've come up to me and say, hey, like, you're not a real Eagles fan. And I would like to ask a 100% bona fide Eagle fan. My scenario here in San Diego is that there's no more San Diego Chargers team, and there hasn't been. Since then, I was on a quest up and down the NFL to search for a team, and pretty much I couldn't root for anybody in the AFC. I liked some teams. I hate the Cowboys. I've always hated the Cowboys. I don't know why.
Number one
Fuck
thing
the Cowboys.
in, baby.
But then, even then, I said, you know what? I'm better at the NFL. I want to watch football. Darren Sproles is there. I liked here Sunday morning. Donovan McNabb, T.O., black jerseys, Westbrook, just great, attractive football with Andy Reid. And, it just kind of got me there. And they had also never won a Super Bowl up until that point.
Yep.
I decided to go in and say I'm declaring myself a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Let's see how it goes. And that year that they end up winning the Super Bowl.
So I guess I have to thank you.
I'll take all my thanks, and that's partly why I tell people the story.
I don't blame you. No, listen, anybody it used to be, there was a saying that Eagles fans aren't so much fans of the football team. More so, we're a collection of people that hate Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I love that.
So if you
love
hate the Cowboys and you kind of like the Eagles, come on in. You're family.
Fucking love that. And I've been on pilgrimage because I know a lot of people that still just hate watch the Chargers, not necessarily cheering on them, and they just have no direction. They're in fantasy football, but there's just something about cheering for one team.
I'm hardcore. I don't root for anybody else. I'm a one team kind of guy. I've always been a one team kind of guy. I like the same city in several different sports. That's just I grew up in a 4-sport city, even though I grew up just outside in Delaware. I grew up 30 minutes south of the stadiums, so I'm in. That being said, mad respect to you guys as Chargers fans, first things first, because you guys
never liked
stuck
Chargers.
with a team that was just straight garbage.
Yes.
I mean, they were good. They were a really good team. But the ownership was garbage. And the way that they treated you guys at the very end was like kind of like the way Congress is treating people that are unemployment right now. It's like, yeah, we really appreciate your money in the past, but we're going to take our money elsewhere. So I definitely, my heart goes out to all you guys. And I'll be real honest, the Chargers don't deserve the fans that you guys were.
Yeah.
And for those that still are, I get it. But like, what are you, rooting for somebody else to screw your girlfriend? I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to look at it.
That sounds
hilarious.
that sounds painful in many ways. Just
you're renting out a stadium. You don't even have your own.
But here we
You owe
are.
that guy money. Like this.
Yeah.
Here's my first. So how is it that the Spanos family, who made their money in construction, how is it that you need to ask the people of the city that you make money off of and go, we need more money from you guys to be able to build this. Why don't you give us a discount?
Yeah, and I'll be completely fair because there is that giant argument, but there was one golden opportunity that the city of San Diego had, that they put a measure on the ballot to say, hey, we're going to go ahead and build a stadium with all of this tax tourist revenue, only tourist revenue, only that. Yeah, and they still said
that.
No.
A horrible idea.
So, I mean, look, that was the
horrible
only
idea.
one.
We make way more money off of tourism in this town than we ever will off of the Chargers.
Yeah.
And at the, also, I hate to say it, but it's just bad economics as a city to bring in an NFL team and spend that kind of money. I mean, you're talking about at the very, very, very best 12 to 13 games.
Yeah.
And every so often we'll host a Super Bowl. Great. That's $1 billion into the economy. You know what's bringing $1 billion right now? Well, we'll be bringing in $1 billion once again is tourism.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you try to push that out and make it too expensive here, do you really think that companies on the East Coast are going to go, oh, well, Vegas is a couple $1,000s less. Let's take our people there.
Yeah. Like
to Vegas they
really?
go.
Yeah. And that's what the Raiders did. There was a chance that they would have come here. There would have been a giant fan base for the Raiders here in San Diego, but again, money talks.
That would
and
have been so crazy.
That's
I mean, I was there for the last couple of Raider Charger games, man, and it just was progressively sad. The comp tickets on the last game that I had, I was in the black hole, man, and it was just me, my lowly Charger jersey, and
you wore your jersey?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
I don't blame you, but Jesus,
you have to, man.
Target on yourself instead.
I mean, I could take half of the women that are Raider fans, so that's fine.
The Raiders made a good move.
They're all bigger than you.
That Raiders stadium though in Vegas, man, that shit is beautiful.
That is beautiful. That I gotta say, that
like
stadium
how they
is
bring
great.
out the field outside to grow the grass.
Arizona does that too.
Wow, dude, that's just genius.
It's also what you have to do when you fucking put a stadium in a desert.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. If you have to import water.
I want to kind of bring it back a little bit to that hatred of the Cowboys.
Yes.
If it's so much, fuck, man, I just need to say, you guys lost that draft to the Cowboys, them drafting CeeDee Lamb before you guys. How much did that piss you guys off?
I mean, it did a lot. I mean, I understood it because a couple of drafts ago, then when what's his face, Witten, when Witten decided to go and do Monday Night Football for some god awful reason, that was their boy Dallas Goedert. in Dallas, it would have worked perfectly. It just on so many levels. And then we went up and said, hey, we'll just go ahead and take that. Oh, but you have Zach Ertz. Well, we'll go ahead and take that.
Okay.
And then Jerry Boy decided in his yacht, because he did his draft in his yacht.
Yeah, he did. He had the hottest setup out of all of the owners.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see some of those guys who were like, working off of desks that they got at Office Max? Like, it's like, come on, dude.
But yeah, I mean that's what I think. Like,
what do you do?
It was a kind of give and take. Like, I get it, I get the move.
Yeah.
Because we kind of did it a couple of years before.
Well, the thing of it is that the move wasn't. I mean, we definitely. You're absolutely right, by the way. But where it kind of fit into us. Well, first things first. Wasn't it nice years ago when they were like, "Oh, this is a luxury pick for them"? It's like, no, motherfucker, there is no such thing in the NFL. No, it's too hard to win in this league. Like, it just doesn't happen. So the funny thing is that because we didn't end up moving Zach Ertz, and I think we're past his prime at this point in time.
Yeah.
So I think he's at, the ability to sell him at a high, I don't think is there any longer. What the Eagles always used to do was they would draft somebody for the position that they were going to initially take over from an aged player. That's how we were so successful during the Andy Reid years. And it was just, we were really, really, really good at that. And that's why we were able to have probably our best decade during those times. So the fact that we went up and got somebody that also Dallas wanted to get was just this extra, like, look at us. We're geniuses.
Yep.
And then it kind of bit us in the ass a little bit because we could have absolutely used that pick on, I don't know, maybe any part of the secondary or maybe a linebacker that we refused to draft for whatever reason. One of our starting guys was a running back in college, TJ Edwards, who was the guy that they've been, see what I mean? I'm not even 100% sure his name's TJ Edwards. That's how bad it's got.
And this is a diehard who knows the Water Boys names and
yeah. I could tell you who he's.
By the way, you did not know the Water Boys get a ring.
What?
I had to tell you the Water Boys get a ring when they win the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Everybody in the organization.
Yep.
So I thought it was one of those things where it kind of bit us in the ass, and now look what it's done to Dallas. They did not need to draft him. And even though he was an unbelievable talent, they did not need to draft CeeDee Lamb. Where did they need it? They needed a secondary player as well.
Yep.
They passed on a guy that they could have easily grabbed. And, hey, we're reaping the benefits, and they're historically one of the worst defenses out there right now.
Yeah, you spoke Andy Reid's names just a while ago. I want to ask, where's the love with Andy Reid when he won his Super Bowl with Kansas City?
I was rooting for him too. I'm always going to be a fan of Andy Reid.
That's fair.
That guy he turned the program around flat out. I mean, he made us a championship organization, and the coaching tree that he has from that is right up there with some of the, with your Bill Walsh's, granted, I think that's the biggest and best coaching tree that ever existed, but he's on par. All the guys that came out of that system, pretty goddamn amazing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that lineage, I think it's bigger than Belichick's, and I'd argue that his tree has impacted the NFL more than Belichick, because Belichick himself is an institution. But like you're saying, the coaching tree that Andy Reid has, just sublime, amazing. The hardware that they have too is
definitely deserve that ring already, man.
Yeah, I was so happy for him, and it was one of those things where it was just time for Andy to leave. The year that he had left, he came back to work after his son died from a drug overdose after having a long battle with drugs, where he even brought him under his wing and brought him in as a strength and conditioning coach. The kid cleaned himself up, and then all of a sudden, boom, bang, bip, slips back, and now he's dead. Yeah. And the guy still gave his heart to the city. So it was painful to see him go. It was the right time, and I'm so, so happy that he ended up taking another team that hadn't won the Super Bowl, hadn't won since God knows how long. And, and I think even more important is that it will never change. His legacy will never change in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But this only adds to the story of a person that really deserves and is really, a good dude. And I think, you don't hear that enough. You hear about these other coaches, like the guy from the Jets or,
I don't know. That guy still has a job. If I fuck up at anything, I'd be fired. If I fuck up as a human being, I'd be fired as a human being for doing shit that he's doing. Like, I don't know.
He's such a horrible piece of shit throwback to like the 1950s style where you grab a kid by the face mask and punch him in the face. And it's like, Coach, I'm the third string punter. What are you doing? Like, fuck you. Like, that's not, you can't do that in this day and age. Like, he's just, you know, I hate to say it, but he's like the politically incorrect version of an NFL coach where you're like, how do you still exist? You like, how does any PR look at you and be like, no, bring him in our organization?
Well, I mean, I think he is the PR, he is HR, he's the coach, he's the GM. I don't know how the fuck he could manage that. So
horrible, dude.
It's crazy.
Well, they're gonna get the number 1 draft pick, so
and ruin another career. I mean, Sam Darnold, as much as Colin Cowherd has him shoved up his ass, is a talented kid, and you know should be doing better things.
I want him to go to the Steelers so bad.
Go where?
To the Steelers.
I mean,
Big Ben's on his last couple
it'll
days.
Be interesting to see what happens. See, this is where, to bring it back to a conversation we kind of got on a little, you know, what teams would be out there that would be willing to trade for Carson Wentz? Yeah. And you've got,
you named the Colts.
Just off the top of my head, you've got a Steelers potential. You've got the Colts. You know, are they willing to put up this kind of money to be able to do those things? Probably not. Yeah. But, you know, when people fly off the hinge and be like, we got to trade him. Okay, well, great. Where's he going?
I mean,
who's going to be that
Denver?
Team?
Like
Denver, 49ers. I mean, there's a lot of different teams out there that could use a QB. But are they willing to invest what it's going to need? You know, are you willing to take on 20% of your cap space?
Exactly.
Bring on a guy that clearly has something that needs to be fixed.
Let's bring it on to happier times, so simpler times a little bit. I like to get everybody who is an Eagle fan.
I love those times.
Probably it could be in February for all we know. But I remember when we were high fiving and shit. Like, look, I actually met Dave. I don't know if you remember that specific day. It was but. Back in the day, we were hanging out outside of at the American Comedy Company in downtown San Diego, and my dream's always to just like hang out with comics and like why not? Great night, great show. It was like 2 a.m. at that point. It was with Gene Pompa and I forget the other guy. It was a weird night, but I get invited up and somehow end up in a hotel room taking shots, talking Rams football, Eagle football.
Richard Chasler,
yes, thank you.
My good friend Rich.
But who 100% Knicks. Like that man is bleeding blue
he's
and
all
orange.
new.
Like I love just hardcore fans like that. Like that just cares.
He's one of my best dudes, man.
I love it.
And Gene Pompa's just great people. You caught a great one. Let me tell you, man.
Really?
You snuck up on the right people.
Yeah, no, and it was just like a childhood dream, just hanging out with comics, having a great time. But
no masks.
Oh yeah,
It's outside.
Sounds
Wow,
fantastic.
No one was even.
Remember
If
that.
you were 6 feet away, it was because someone had bad breath.
Exactly. But even before then, simpler times when, again, we're talking about it, when we had Big Dick Nick carry that trophy, the Lombardi, for the first time in Eagles history. What was this like, man? When you were watching,
dude.
Just
well,
take
first
me
things
through.
first. I can tell you, I cried.
Yeah.
I literally stood there as a grown man staring at a TV and I bawling my eyes out, not knowing what to do, looking around me. I was in, at the time, I was up in Hollywood at the Sycamore Tavern watching with a large group of people. We're called the Nest of the West. And we would normally run about 100, 150 some people deep. We literally take over a bar. Half of them were, of course, back in Philadelphia. So the rest of us were holding down the fort, holding down the nest, if you will. And I remember I didn't believe it clear up to the point when we knocked the ball out of his hands.
Yeah. Graham, was it? I think.
When Graham came around the corner and
strip
just
sack.
put that arm out and just knocked the ball out of Tom Brady's hands.
Yeah.
First off, Graham is one of my absolute favorites. I mean, what you want to talk about a Philadelphia career? That guy's had one. I mean, coming out of Michigan, He was a linebacker. We made him a defensive end. We brought him back to linebacker when he was with Chip Kelly. Brought him back to being a defensive end. I mean, he's done everything he could to produce for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
And for him to get that final, here we go, boys, we got this. And I still, right up to that moment, I was like, nope, this is Tom Brady. I've seen this every fucking time for 20 plus years. This son of a bitch is going to find a way to come back.
Yeah.
And when that opportunity was no longer available to him, I literally just looked around and I tried to suck in the moment for what exactly it was, because I wanted to try to remember as much as I could. I had not drank during that entire Super Bowl up until that moment. My bar tab was over $120 within the 1 hour that I was there. And I wasn't buying drinks for people. People were buying me drinks. I'm just shots. Keep them coming until you see me turn pale white. And even then, just back off, but keep them coming. And I got so fucking shit-faced hammered that night. I ended up somehow, I don't want to go into too many of the details, but I ended up losing my phone in an Uber. The night that night. And I had to drive from the Valley. Luckily, the other person I was with had one of those find a phone things.
Oh, nice.
And we were using the iPad. And I ended up going into an area called the Jungle. I don't know if you're familiar with Los Angeles, but it's not the nicest of areas.
Oh, okay.
And I went walking around, knocking on door to door. And I'm not a racist guy, but I'll tell you, I was the only white guy within any distance there. And here I am walking around in a black neighborhood with an iPad, knocking on a door. Do you know Jimmy? Like, I got told fuck off a lot of different times. It started to get dark. I wasn't giving up. Eventually, I went around behind this building, saw somebody partying in their garage, and they had a huge Dallas Cowboys sign up. And I was like, oh, motherfucker. And then I said, you know what? I gotta go. I gotta go ask. I don't know. There's some guys there. And I said, hey, one of you guys know Jimmy? The guy stood up and was like, huh? So, yo, Jimmy. It's like, holy fucking shit. What's going to happen? I ended up getting back my phone as well as my friend's phone. I had 200 texts.
Oh, wow.
People asking me if I was dead. What had happened? Because I was the Eagles guy.
Yeah.
So everybody under the sun that had ever met me knew I was an Eagles guy. So I'm getting texts, yo, bro, now I'm starting to get worried. You all right? What's going on? My own mother was like, how can I not talk to my son?
On his most important day. What out of all the days, man?
This was like the culmination of all of my life's, fandom wrapped up into one situation,
That's crazy.
So you're never going to forget that, though.
I absolutely cried. I went back the next day to the bar, and I ended up pulling down some of the Philly posters that Bud Light had made.
Yeah.
And I pulled down as many of those as they would let me take. And I was just, I walked around literally for a full week, just ear to ear smile. I didn't give a fuck what happened anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Oh my God, COVID's, I could care less. I fucking don't care. I don't care. I don't care what you say. Oh, you lost your job. Great.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
More time. It was worth it.
More time to look over the Philly play. One more time. Just one more time.
Just what a fucking amazing call, man. Like, it's just the balls, the balls to do that. The pressure must take, like, people forget too. Nick Foles was already in the Hall of Fame at that point. He was up for throwing seven touchdowns.
I love the clip where it's like, he just goes up to him, he's like, Philly special? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
confidence that he had, like,
fuck. Yeah. And then just a couple plays before that, Tom Brady had a similar play where he didn't catch shit.
That was great.
I know. It was amazing.
It's kind of like, this is how you do it, man.
We beat him at his own goddamn game.
Yeah. I think what got to me for that Super Bowl that I saw that it's so special for Eagles fan was watching Kobe's reaction, holding his daughter and just seeing it on TV and just going, fucking won the Super Bowl. Fucking won the Super Bowl. Yeah. To me, as a Lakers fan, Kobe's like my idol, Yeah. Just watching him being that happy, I was like, holy shit, this fucking means a shit ton to these Eagles fans.
For something he didn't achieve for once, too. Like, it's just pure joy.
Collectively had an exhale. Mm-hmm. And then I love the fact that so many of my friends, and I have not watched it, I will not watch this. But so many of my friends came over. Oh, you guys are going to burn down your city now? What a bunch of douchebags. Oh, this guy is going to lick horse poop. Oh, you guys are the worst. You guys are so fucking bad. And I'm like,
Philly strong.
Let me ask you a question. What happened when the Lakers won the championship back in the 80s? Did you? Oh, you guys burned down something then. Oh, what happened in Boston when the Red Sox? Oh, they burned down theirs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So we're just having our moment right now, and you guys want to call us assholes? I'm great with it. Fuck you. You know what I am? I'm a fucking Super Bowl asshole.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
And everything about that, man. Like, even if you're not an NFL fan, you're a sports fan. I love to watch parades across the sports spectrum of when championship parades. That championship parade was like nothing else. Just the love. Oh. Jason Kelsey going off, the that outfits.
Man never has to pay for a drink in that city as long as he
absolutely lives. Not. Like, just ingrained. Just, I mean, nobody's going to forget the names of that team. And
do you know he's the only starter that stayed?
Yeah.
He's the only one.
Yeah.
The entire team, 53-man roster, adding, subtracting. There's only one man that has played the entire time during, is it on offense? Am I wrong? Is it just on offense or is it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because there's
the only player that started all the games for offense.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's half your team is devoted to offense.
Crazy.
And it's not a position that doesn't get injured often either. Like it takes a special person to do that.
I feel bad. We're gonna have to replace him at some point, and that's gonna be a sad, sad day.
Yeah, it's coming, and I feel like that's a lot of what it is at this point. Is that Super Bowl? Just
now, you guys know the story on the Mummers on why he was dressed like that.
I believe. Do you know it?
I don't.
Okay,
I don't.
Okay, so in Philadelphia, they have this tradition. I think they finally ended it because there was a lot of racism, but not uncommon for the city of Philadelphia. So what would happen is on New Year's Day, they would have different crew. It's kind of like Mardi Gras, how they have different nights, different crews is what they call them.
Yeah. Here
it's like a group of men, and they're either firemen, police, bricklayers, plumbers, blue collar guys.
Yeah.
And they all year round they get ready for New Year's Day when they have the Mummers Parade. And during the Mummers Parade, they have it's kind of like their own Mardi Gras. And he's even gone so far where there were people that were in blackface and it was like really bad and they kind of ended the whole thing and it ended up being pretty tragic. However, it was a big tradition. We all loved it.
Big fun tradition.
We go there New Year's Day, get shit-faced, watch the Mummers Parade. They had this special little dance that they would do and they all wore those crazy outfits and stuff. So when he took on that element of Philadelphia and was like, I'm going to wear this. This is what I'm going to do. And he got it from a real guy.
Yeah.
From apparently like his hairdresser. I don't know if you could.
You got to hold him somehow.
Somebody's hairdresser got him that outfit. So when he put that thing on and showed up there, it was just like, not only are you like, you're already a hero to us, but now you're going to wear the attire that we wait all year for? Fuck yeah.
That's amazing, man. And I wish that we can find out what that feels like here in San Diego, to have like a hero like that, to have somebody like that, because that's something special, Matt. Like, just special human
Manny
beings.
Machado, you're working on it.
We're working on it. I mean, Tatis, we're working on it, but that's baseball, and baseball right now is.
Tatis get stabbed at Pacers?
That was actually Tommy Pham.
Tommy
Pham, who had 24 stitches on his back. It was a long gash.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, the altercation right outside because they were next to his car. Yeah, I mean, that's typical outside of Pacers at that time. First of all, not that I frequent.
You guys would have lost your shit if that was Tatis.
I would have lost my shit had that been Tatis, but Tatis is a good boy. He's back at home. He's back home in the Dominican. He's building
studying his Bible.
Yeah, exactly. He's building houses for orphanages.
Playing baseball still
over there.
Yeah. He's building houses with baseballs.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
But no, it was one of those things where I was like, wait, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Why are people at strip clubs? I mean, I know they serve food, some of them, but even then,
now, I drove by there yesterday because I live not far from there.
Mm-hmm.
Did they happen
Drove
to
by?
change the name of the place?
Do a
It's still
quick Google.
Pacers,
It's
but now it says it's a sports bar and restaurant.
Wow.
Did it
Let's
ever
see.
Did it ever say that it was a strip bar? I mean, we all knew it was a strip bar. I mean, it's, that place has been a strip bar as long as I've been in San Diego, and that's 20 years.
a quick Google says Pacers Showgirls as the official name. And in the news, judge rules in favor of strip clubs seeking to remain open. This from our our government-funded KPBS affiliate here in San Diego.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
there we go.
How there's strippers. This is how fucked up things are in California. You can have strippers. You can't have stand-up comedy.
Yes.
You can't meet in a group to go to church, but you can meet at a bar and eat outside so long as it looks, and you can make it look as much as inside as you want.
Yeah.
But you can't gather at a church, but you can gather around a strip bar.
It makes absolutely no sense. And I, for one, is like, if I had any power at all, I just make that happen as far as like stand-up comedy. Like, you guys have been doing shows, if possible, in parking lots. I've seen, we were fortunate enough to have Dave Williamson, and he gave us tickets to go over to watch Bert Kreischer up in San Marcos in a drive-in. So, I mean, people are getting innovative, but
I heard he did well.
But
Steve Fury opened up for him.
Yes, he did. And he also loved our smoked tuna jerky. Have you had smoked tuna jerky, by the way?
I've never had tuna jerky. Sounds amazing.
It's okay, cool. You just had it. It's what linked us, that group. It's fantastic.
It's fucking delicious.
It's fucking amazing. Point Loma Seafoods. I used to work there. I used to be the sushi guy.
They sell it there.
Yeah, Point Loma Seafoods.
That's walking distance from my place.
Bro, you got to go. I'm gonna
go tomorrow.
Go right down. It's right to your left. There's $29.95 a pound, but you know what? Just say, here, give me $5 of some tuna jerky. Don't forget the lemons, and if you have some time, get yourself a cookie. That's very underrated.
A cookie.
A
Okay.
cookie.
And a beer.
And and a fucking beer. But that's, you got to go for that tuna jerky, man. 100%. Let me know how.
Lemon, salt.
That's something I never ever would have thought existed.
And it's just life changing. Like, it's life changing.
It pisses me off because I've known this guy for about 3 years already, and it's the first time he ever introduced me to this.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so
It's very special.
Look in your eyes, not of like you're kind of questioning your friendship with him at the moment. You're like, motherfucker.
It's very
How long
special.
have I known you, and now you introduce this to me? What did I do beforehand? That didn't lead up to today.
I thought it was a little too healthy for you, to be honest.
shit.
But no. So yeah, like it's kind of like you were saying, just different goalposts for different people at this point. How is that opposed to traveling the country and seeing this up and down? Like, how is life in 2020 for comedians, man?
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Just absolutely brutal. I mean, the thing that first off, stand-up comedy is one of those weird things because it's truly, you have to be passionate about it. Mm-hmm. And it has to mean something to you that's almost indescribable in terms of the love that you have for it. I mean, it's almost an unhealthy relationship because very few people are going to be able to get to the level that they started off hoping that they would achieve.
Yeah.
And you quickly realize, like, oh, wow, I'm not doing this, this fancy shit. I'm doing shitty bars in Barstow, or, I'm driving 3 hours to go do 10 minutes in a place that's going to maybe give me $5 worth of beer.
Yeah.
So to have all of that yoinked out from underneath you as a person, and it almost feels like you're missing a limb. Mm-hmm. I guess that would be the easiest way to describe it, because it's something that's so much a part of you and so much something that you rely upon, that you use, that it's almost like a drug that you have to cut off. Yeah. Because there's no greater feeling than when you truly kill a show, when you do it absolutely perfect the way you wanted it to, regardless of the crowd. Because doing well in front of a good crowd is not the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
But doing well in front of a shitty crowd that doesn't want to care about your existence. Now that's something where you're like, all right, I'm good at this, and to remove that from your abilities as something, not your abilities, excuse me, to remove that from your person. And, it's weird. It's how can I describe it? It's like if you had a really, really great relationship when you were younger in your life, and then you ended up breaking it off because you were young, and then you always look back like, man, that was a really stupid decision.
Yeah.
And then you have to live with that for a while. That's kind of what it's like right now. Only it's like, there was this thing that was really good in my life, and it was really fun, and I could put work into it, and I could get rewards from that work, and I have none of that now. So it's like, it's really strange.
Yeah.
And
sucks.
it makes you take a hard look at what would your life be like if it wasn't for this art that you have given so much to. And maybe it gives you back what you put into it. Maybe it doesn't. It doesn't matter. The fact remains is that you're going to go up and do it because it's something that you love. 100. And to have that removed is crazy.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like for us personally, we work out at schools with kids, and it's been weird, it's been different, but we're still there. Yeah. And it's it is what it is. It's a different world, and it's like, what moving forward, how are you gonna move back to how it was, if at all possible. But during this time, obviously it's difficult, and sports is, we decided to do this the day after Kobe passed away, and
oh man,
it sucks. So we decided, all right, let's start the week after, because that's just weird.
Yeah. Give yourself that time.
And we started, and after that happened, sports died in the world.
Yeah,
like that's it. We're starting a sports podcast, and they fucking died. But once they started coming out, and I was watching Korean baseball for a second.
Marble races.
From Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. How did you like eventually when they started coming in with like, okay, truncated baseball season maybe, or wouldn't really put NFL in that category because they just don't give a fuck. They're going.
None.
They're going.
They don't care. Yeah.
And granted, baseball had a couple of COVID scares here and there with the Marlins and whatnot, but eventually they came back. How did you? Did that help? Did those type of COVID sports, kind of just fill in that a void at least, or how did you enjoy COVID sports?
Not even close. No. It felt like, the bad joke of watching ESPN 8. El Ocho.
El Ocho.
It was like that, and I got to be honest, I'm a huge sports fan, huge, and I really off the bat was like, this is a bad idea. I don't think we need to have sports. Is it a must of society? And the answer for me was no, it isn't. Yeah. I don't think that we should put these guys in harm's way. I don't think that we should put their families through the difficulties that it is. The only thing that made me feel a little bit better about it was the NBA bubble. Mm-hmm. And how NHL hockey was doing it. I thought the way that Major League Baseball did it was just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I thought this was just piggyback, and I won't get too political on this one, but I thought this was piggybacking on what a lot of other people were saying, which is like, oh, you got to get over this, get the economy going, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, what we need to do is we need to figure out how we're going to get past this thing, because this is going to fuck us up. None of us knew that it was going to be as bad as it was, but there were certainly indicators that it wasn't going to be good. Yeah. And I really initially thought that going back to sports was just a bad idea. I thought it was a good thing for all of us to just take a step back. Let's just, do what we got to do to help out the community around you. Stop worrying about what some overpaid billionaires are saying to some overpaid millionaires.
Yeah.
And go help the person that's having a difficult time. Go help the school kid, that can't do whatever they used to do. Figure out something in your neighborhood, because right now, at that point in time, we were still in that phase of like, we're going to get through this together.
Yeah.
And, don't worry, guys, we'll get through it, and it was this we thing. I've always been a team guy, team. I like individual contributions to the larger group, and the whole group gets to enjoy the successes and share in the failures. And I figured that was what we needed as a society. Shortly after that, I realized that was not going to happen, and we were all royally fucked.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, and this is a bit that I'm working on, but I knew that we were going to be in for a very difficult time during COVID when everybody started off saying, we care about you, don't worry. And then all of a sudden you couldn't buy toilet paper anywhere.
Yep,
which means you literally didn't give a shit about somebody else. How are you going to tell me wearing a mask is going to help?
Behind the scenes, we're currently in our garage. This is a garage. I'm looking at about 50 rolls of industrial sandpaper quality toilet paper that I still have from there.
Have you turned to a 2 toilet paper house now?
So there's varieties. There's Costco. There was at one point there was Kleenex early in the pandemic because you just never knew.
I got it right over here. Hold on a second. I'll go grab it for you.
Did you have toilet paper problems?
My dad ended up buying a stack on Amazon. It was like 80 rolls, but it didn't show up for like 2-3 months.
So he's just telling me
trying to get rid of this shit since the moment I bought this goddamn stuff.
Because
I turned into a. Yeah. That's why I want to show you that I was one of the losers in this said situation, and I'm very butthurt about it, and I mean no pun intended.
And it's not like you'd think Kleenex is soft, but it is, but like
so it rips right
it's
through.
Just
it just rips right through. You got to.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you hear that's.
Yep. You gotta get like 2 or 3.
That's not crumpling paper like from back in the day when you were on a.
Trust me, we're from
high school. Yeah, that's not loose leaf.
Yeah, no, we're from Mexico. We're from a third world country. We know exactly what shitty ass fucking toilet paper feels like.
No, I'm just kidding. So I'm curious now. How many rolls? I've changed my life after this because of the amount of garbage that I have. So now I'm a 2 toilet paper in my bathroom. You have one that you wipe your ass with. There's another roll that is for everything else that you would think to use other toilet paper for.
Let me go get mine.
Oh, you guys!
I never seen him I never seen him run so fast in my life. That's okay. So holy crap! Holy shit! Oh, you're in for a ride right now. Hey, bro, dang, goddamn.
Alcohol.
This one.
Oh my god!
Got that one.
Yeah.
This one. This one fucking
That's
hurts.
the stuff that used to make.
This one's been here, has not been used.
I'll pay you money right now. If you can wipe your ass with that and not bleed.
If you can wipe your ass with that and not bleed.
Hey man, it's lubricant at this point.
Dude, I mean seriously, you could sand a wall with that shit. I know it.
Straight up.
You could easily do drywall with that.
I mean, it's just that's how crazy this pandemic made a lot of people. Another thing that you were talking about that people went crazy over in this pandemic was, oh
man, how do you feel about teams having to change their logos and names?
We got the Indians now.
We got the Washington football team now, who have apparently no name. And now Cleveland in baseball have to change their logos and names.
They decided to.
You know, I don't know. I want to say that I don't like it, but I got to be honest in that I do. I always thought the Redskins was a racist thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you put. And if you don't believe me, I'll challenge you. Put any other thing, any other type of person, and put the word skin afterwards.
Yeah.
And say it in public and see if you don't get punched in the fucking face.
Hey, what's up, fat skin?
If you can do that, go right ahead. And that's up to and including white people. Yeah. I would love to see a team called the White Skins. No. Not going to happen. Even in Utah, they would be like, that's too much. So I thought that one was bad. I think the taking down of some of the statues of some of the owner of the former, the guy that owned the Redskins.
Yeah.
You know, he was an infamous racist, apparently. I don't remember it, but apparently he was. So, you know, I'm okay with certain elements of the cancel culture, to be honest, because I think the name doesn't make the team. The name makes the merchandise. And you can change the players, you know, so long as you don't change cities, like the fucking Chargers, in which case you're dead to me.
Yeah, should have
You know, like
changed the name.
I'll still call them the Chargers, but
Yeah,
it's not the San Diego Chargers.
yeah, it's a different team.
It's not the Superchargers. And if
If you can't use a song, why even fucking bother, right?
you know what I mean?
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I mean,
Now, is there any truth as former fans of that? Didn't they the guys that sung that song?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they do the what was the car jingle?
which one?
Not the Mossy Nissan. Are they the ones that did Mossy Nissan?
There's the Mossy Nissan. There's We've Got What It Takes, San Diego. I'm blanking, and I have like the General commercial playing in my head right now.
Yeah, I can't think of it either. That's why I was like, let me just ask them because I can't remember the goddamn name.
Yeah,
But I heard that they sang that jingle too.
Man, we love our fun jingles here in San Diego.
Let me ask you guys a question, as you know, true fan base here.
Yeah, well,
I was never a Chargers fan.
He's a Rams fan, and that's right.
I'm from LA.
Yeah, but they were from St. Louis, and
Well,
they were from LA
but they were
first.
from LA, but the Chargers.
Yeah, they were LA,
I'm
then
still
St.
Butler.
Louis, then LA again.
Yeah,
You're a Raider fan, anyway. So
I was a Raiders fan because when I was born, the Raiders were in LA, and they were the closest thing to LA.
Yeah,
and we're a bunch of flip floppers. Here's what we're saying, Dave.
No, I'm not saying that at all. And that was me as a
Southern
kid.
California, brother.
As soon as the Rams came back to LA, I hopped on that wagon.
Every Southern Californian I know is flip floppies, so that makes no difference to me.
Don't fuck with the Padres, though.
What do you think San Diego needs?
Soccer
It's
team.
not football.
Soccer team.
I think it's different.
I mean, I think, look, we have a soccer team that's starting. Maybe the general public still isn't aware. The general public was somehow still not aware of the Chargers for half the time they were here anyways. But
The Loyal is their name?
San Diego
Loyal playing on the fact that they are loyal to our team and they will never leave us, as they say. We'll see. But they're
Yeah,
not.
but... or you could go down to TJ and watch some really good football players.
Yeah, Los Cholos Quintles and get some tacos down there.
Yeah.
But I think ideally, if the sports arena thing was to have had as the bells and whistles that they were proposing, the NBA could have really had a chance to come here.
I think.
If the Clippers would have came back to San
NBA
Diego, that would have been huge.
Thrive in this city like nobody's business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's an automatic rivalry with LA.
Yep.
Both teams in there. Like we were saying, we wish it was the Clippers, but there's just no chance with Irvine getting constructed now.
Yeah.
It used to be the Clippers, though.
Yeah,
Clippers
exactly.
used to play here in San Diego. Yeah.
That's why.
At least the Aztecs are doing good.
I guess.
Aztecs basketball.
This is a city this is the thing. So many times I've heard, it's difficult to have a sports team in San Diego because they're wildly athletic people, huge fans of athletics, not fan of major sports.
Yeah, no.
They're a fan of, surfing, this, that, and the other, you name it, everything else but the four major sports.
Yeah.
And even though with the success that the Gulls have had in town, that's really just East Coast transplants that love to watch it. Because otherwise, there is no greater sport than hockey. I mean, dude, you get to watch people fight, and it's a 5-minute penalty. 10-minute if you draw blood.
I see a lot of
That's
people
good
going
sport.
to the Princess Ice Skating thing.
The what? The what?
The Princess Ice Skating thing. I see a lot of people going to that.
What?
So I guess San Diego loves that.
Ice skating?
Princess?
Yeah, the
Ice skating?
Disney princesses.
Disney on ice?
Yeah, Disney on Ice.
Okay.
That's a dude.
That's a different sport altogether.
A lot of people like that in San Diego. That's what we're turning into.
I bet you there's more fans of Disney in Southern California than there are fans of Jesus.
Oh shit.
Probably.
Yeah,
especially around month 9 of the coronavirus. We're just like, I mean, if he's not answering our prayers at this point, like, fuck, man.
Test your faith. How so? Well, I got a doozy for you.
I mean, he's too busy answering our prayers by making Bill Belichick and Tom Brady suck ass. So there's that.
Thank
He
you for
also
that
waited
one.
till he made sure that was an easy one. Yeah, I'll just hold on. Yeah, I'll get to it.
Are you praying as a 76ers fan for James Harden? Is the question.
It depends. I mean, from what I was reading, well, first things first, I got to take a look at what I heard. James Harden is looking more like an offensive tackle right now than he does like a basketball player. I heard
He's looking tubby. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, they said he looked like Jason Peters. So
yeah, there was not a good angle.
What James Harden am I getting? Maybe. I like the idea of hearing about it. I would love to trade away Tobias Harris. The trade that I heard that might, it was off of Bleacher Report, so it's based on nothing, but it would be the Sixers get James Harden. They give up 3 first-round picks, and then, oh, wow.
I mean, is that really,
really
him?
does
That's
an offensive lineman.
Is that really him right now?
24 hours ago. That's
holy crap.
I mean, that's not a shirt hanging in front of there. That's a gut.
That's a gut.
Look at that chest too, dude.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, but if your
fuck?
belly is bigger than your chest and you're a professional athlete, you better be an offensive lineman.
Yeah, it's not looking
That's
good. So
the
now
only
I'll
time
ask
that
you.
works.
Not just a professional athlete, contestant to be an MVP.
Yeah, I mean, fuck.
He's one of the top 10 guys all day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, maybe he just wants an extra.
I
guys
think
would
it would
have-
be
you
great
guys would
to
have
have
to
him.
give
I
up a
really
lot.
do. I'm not willing to trade away Embiid, and I'm not willing to trade away Simmons yet.
Yeah.
I think there's still, Simmons is 24, Embiid's 25, 26.
Yeah.
Like you can't get more prime than that, and you can have a 20-year career in the NBA, i.e., Kobe and so on and so forth.
I think they pushed the moniker "the process" a little too much, too early, and that kind of dissuade people from it. And there was just a lot of pressure on Ben Simmons, and he has some fault in that season where he just fell off. He was having a great start, just fell off.
It's just that jump shot.
Well, he has a shot. He just has a mental block on taking it. So, that was one of the weird things. As soon as he got into the bubble, I was like, holy shit, look at this. Ben Simmons is shooting the ball. We're going to win. We're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hurts himself. I'm like, you motherfucker.
I don't want to just bring up like bad memories, but how did you feel about that Kawhi last second shot?
Oh, the 5 bouncer,
Oh,
man.
shit.
Oh, that was so fucking
fuck.
hard. It was so much hope on the line, and it was
I had to
gut-wrenching. It was
I had to ask,
gut-wrenching. We really almost had it.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm a big Sixers fan. I mean, I went to I was in the 84 championship against your Lakers.
Oh,
I
wow.
was at one of those games, and I sat second row off the court because my dad ended up getting tickets through somebody, blah, blah, blah. But they ended up being like the owners, the mother of the owner of the 76ers personal tickets were given to us. So I was a huge Mo Cheeks fan because he was the short guy on the team and I'm short. So I was like, oh, dude, this guy's just like me. And then I met Mo Cheeks and I was like, yo, this guy is nothing like me. But I remember walking around the court and watching, my favorite basketball player of all time is not Michael Jordan and it's not Kobe Bryant. It's the guy that they looked up to.
Magic.
And that's Dr. J.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got to see Dr. J play, that was just unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, that team was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's just one of those sports that you have to see in person.
Yeah.
Because you just don't understand the athleticism of these huge people.
monsters.
And then you get the, the average looking guys that are 6 feet tall that are just
AI.
minuscule. AI, Steph now, just do wonderful things with the ball against these monsters too. It's just amazing just seeing them play. What's the I'd say the Mount Rushmore for you as far as greatest of all time? You obviously have Dr. J on there, but if you were to order them, obviously those Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan, like
Mobley, LeBron, Jordan all have to make it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Doc J, I'm going to put him on there just because of what, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Problem is you get a lot of crossover there. So, Doc J was a small forward. I think LeBron is a small forward. He could literally play any position on the court.
Yeah.
But if I had to go back into old school, Euro 1, Euro 2, Euro 3 type of thing, he's a 3, maybe an old school 4. I mean, people have to remember that, Charles Barkley was one of the best power forwards. Guy was 6'4". His ass was 7'2", but he was 6'4", So let's see here. The greatest of all time. Fuck, that's hard, man. I've been in this argument a lot. And every time I get into the argument, I have a new answer. For center, I mean, it's easy to say Bill Russell, but he was kind of at a time that was a little bit different in the history of basketball. So I'm going to nix that, even though he has the stats to put it up there. Kareem was pretty impressive, but I think Wilt was probably the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with that.
You know, I would love to throw in a Shaq. I mean, there's been some great centers in the league, but I think Wilt was just ahead of his time, and you know, so I put him at the 5. At the 4, boy, that's going to be a tough one. I mean, I hate to say it, but like Tim Duncan, maybe.
Yeah, that's not a bad choice at all, like at all.
But it's not like
he's a monster though,
because he's so.
Remember, this
Spurs,
is your personal
basic,
top 5,
and he's
man.
not.
Yeah. So I would I'll go with that.
Fundamentals.
You know, it's hard to throw. I mean, point guard, Magic Johnson.
Yeah, of course.
Shooting guard. And I know you're not going to love me for this one, but Michael Jordan over Kobe.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
because Kobe would have been Michael Jordan had there not been a Michael Jordan first.
Exactly.
And then
copied Michael Jordan.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, I'm going to put in Doc J, but I'll be honest. They're real easy argument to put in somebody else. I mean, you could put in a Larry Bird. You could put in a, LeBron would have been an easy fit for that one. His stats are through the roof, but he's playing in a different league in a different time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with my guy Doc J just because he's, fuck it, this is my team.
So you're the owner of this team. Who do you hire as your coach?
I mean, it's hard to go away from probably Pat Riley.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it would be easy to say the Zen Master, but Pat Riley was fucking unreal, and he did it with so many different teams and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and then
plus just that slick back hair, man. It's gotta respect the guy with that kind of hair, man. That hair won championship.
Yeah, Phil Jackson didn't do himself any favors going to the Knicks again and doing whatever.
Well, I mean, if you really want to go back to it, then I would say that it's what was the guy's Red Auerbach?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's
stats.
Easily the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, I'm kind of drawing a line and moving from like the 70s up.
Well, I got one final question. It's kind of a question that we ask our guests. It's very interesting to hear what they say.
Below my knees.
But hey,
You're asking where I wear my socks?
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. Well, where would you wear your socks below your knees if you were given a opportunity with a golden ticket to go to any sporting event, past, present, I guess, not necessarily future, but just one golden ticket that you can witness a game, an event in person? What would that golden ticket get you into?
That's a good question. I mean, historically, there's games that I would like to have been at, but I think if we're talking a sporting event, then, and this is going to kind of come out of left field a little bit, but I've never seen, I think the World Cup would be fucking amazing to go to. Especially if the USA was there to represent, because we shouldn't be there for that.
It's changing, man.
It's becoming a thing, but
you'd be surprised how good they are.
As much as we hate it as Mexicans, it's
getting better.
It's getting better, and it's getting a little scary. And
you guys got players playing in top teams now.
I mean, the U.S. does have a soccer team that gets beat by fourth world countries at this point.
Yeah,
it's just they're only.
They don't even have a COVID program. They're like, we don't know.
They're still worried about the bubonic plague probably at this point, but here they are beating the U.S.
Food poisoning kills people.
But no, definitely. I think that
I don't know. That's a damn good question.
Yeah.
Man. What would be what's some of the other answers?
We've gotten, anywhere from like a basic, we had somebody say like, oh, like a 1984, like soccer match in Charleston and versus Sheffield United. And sure.
One person said an Arsenal match, like FA Cup Arsenal match,
which is just like super deep soccer.
It's like,
honestly, there's surprising answers, but I mean, out of all the sporting events, I mean, I would Eagles Super Bowl.
If I could
the game,
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
not picking a specific one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be really cool to watch a finals of a World Cup.
Yes,
but I mean, yeah, if I had to go back to specifics, it would be, 1973 when the Flyers won the Stanley Cup. It would be, probably when the Phillies won the World Series the first time back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that one. Obviously, when in 1983, I went to one of the championship games when the Sixers won. So that was pretty amazing. And then, of course, easily the Super Bowl would have been the number one for me. But, I remember some of the stories told about those other events. Mm-hmm. Like I remember hearing about people jumping in the back of pickup trucks, not knowing who's driving, banging pots and pans. We're going to Philly. The Flyers won a Stanley Cup. One of the other ones that would be really cool would have been the Miracle.
Oh, yes.
Going to hockey.
That would have been fantastic.
That's the first someone says that.
That would have been I mean, I don't care who you are or where you're at, or even if you like Team USA. That was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, you cannot, you can't, I don't think you could beat that. I like, as far as like just the raw emotion, the politically chargedness
underdog
of it.
Story. Yeah.
And it wasn't even for the gold medal.
It wasn't.
They still had to play the next game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
But it was Russia.
And Disney decided to make a movie about it. That's how good it was.
Which is a great movie.
Yeah. Look, I'm a sucker for sports movies, even for sports that I have no idea how to fucking play.
Nope.
Yeah.
Miracle is one of the greatest movies. I'm a sucker for boxing movies. You're never going to see me in a ring.
I love boxing movies. I mean, that's another thing. I
love baseball movies and baseball.
How would you not like to be at like the Thriller in Manila or
yes.
And any, like, just come on. I mean, those were amazing, epic fights, Sure, I would love to put any of those. But yeah, I think historically, I'm sticking with the Miracle, and non-historically, I think that's one of the greatest culminations in sports is the World Cup.
Nice. Yeah, it has to be, honestly. And this is why we started this project. We're trying to get World Cup press passes for 2026 when it comes to the U.S. and Mexico.
Fuck yeah,
so that's the goal for this, man. But definitely,
let us know what we can do to cheat you into that situation, or whatever the fuck we got to do.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's the spirit.
We got to get you boys there.
Fuck yeah,
absolutely, man. But definitely, we're gonna go ahead and cut it off right there. Please join us a little bit after, so we can wrap it up after. But could you please let everybody know where they can go ahead and find you on social media? And once this pandemic eats the shit, we're gonna go ahead and go back and watch some comedy in person. Let us know, Dave.
Oh, man, I'd love to have you guys out there. Trust me, next big show I'm doing, you guys are definitely follow me, Dave Wright, on Facebook, Dave Wright Comedian. Don't know why I put a weird pause in there. I'm never on that one anymore, but come by, take a look, give it a like. Nice. And then on everything else, The Right Dave.
I love it, Dave. Really appreciate it.
WRIGHT Dave.
Got it. We're going to go ahead and put it right there. Fly, Eagles, fly. And let's win this division. Or maybe not. We'll find out.